I'm actually not going to waste any time. We're going to get into this right away because I am going to be, what is it? I'm going to be leaving this stream VOD up for people to go take a look at as reference because I already have a big upload for the second channel tomorrow. So I'm going to leave this up here. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the SWS. Now, we will be just having some normal Mario Sunshine Eclipse music because all the songs in here are super copyrighted, but we have our seeded bracket. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each matchup and we're going to talk about them, and then we're going to do our overall predictions. So, and I'll also get this off the bat. Guys, this is 8 a.m. EST. This Saturday, the 2nd of August, 2025 on IPL Splatoon and Area Cup. This is the biggest tournament in a long time. The music is copyright. We got it from No Copyright Sounds. Okay, well, I'm going to be pausing a lot, so fuck it. We'll do it like this anyway. Anyway, we're going to be going through this. We're going to do predictions. And guys, please, I will say this later in the video. Please tune in. This event has so much work and effort behind it. Please show up. If you guys want to see more events, more of this kind of effort leading up to this shit, then you guys gotta support it. So I'm counting on all of you to show up. I'm not gonna be hosting a stream on my YouTube, unfortunately. I did offer, but they said they didn't need it, so it's not gonna happen. So please go show up on theirs. Please. Anyway, that's long enough. Yep, let's get started. Our first team, seed number 1, is the invincible Fleet Raymaru. I'm going to butcher like half these team names. So, this is the team that won Area Cup Crown number 2. And it features 1 out of the 2 JP players who have been winning pretty much every single Area Cup. They are on different teams this time. So this is Lobster, Grand Roll, who has basically been getting 2nd in every single Area Cup. Yes, IPL will be streaming it, so will Area Cup. Nigora, who is probably the best Splatling player. So we have the best Dreadringer with the best Splatling, the best Blaster, and they are paired with a support player. Now, when these guys played originally, they played Splash, Vanilla Dread, Edit Splatling, and what's the weapon I'm forgetting? An S-Blast. However, obviously they now have access to Crab Dread, and Splash has dropped off a little bit. So I'm curious to see if their comp will change. I don't know, but apparently PXG is doing a scrim against them tomorrow at 6 a.m. PST. I think Goss or Gray are streaming it, so I will be tuning in and seeing if they're going to be changing up their comp or not. We'll have to see. But currently, this is the number 1 seeded team. This did win Area Cup Crown 2, which is one of the most stacked JP events. It is a draft cup. And they will be going against Free Flow, seed number 16, who are basically our newest team to this qualifier, if I'm being honest here. Like, I think these are probably the biggest underdogs of the event. And I have gotten a chance to play them a bit, so I do want to talk about them. But this is Free Flow. And these guys have, like, their comp is kind of similar to Moonlight, I guess, where they have this tent style, but they play Wiper with it instead. So Tent Wiper is a lot, it's still very stally, but it's kind of done in a different way where the Wiper plays around mobility while the Tent plays around its shielding and tanking. So they have that duo. I feel like that's like the core of their team. And they have, well, this is a 5-person roster, just to clarify real quick. This is a 5-person roster. But I believe their main comp is paired with Blaster and Edit Splatling. So Blaster, they play Luna Blaster and Vanilla Blaster, not S-Blast. So they play short-range Blaster, sometimes the bubble one, sometimes they have Double Hammer. And then they have Edit. So we have one of the few teams to not have a pencil in this event. Very aggro-leaning, very short-range favored. I'd say this team's biggest strength is they do have very big snowball potential. Like, if these guys can get a good hold, they do have potential to snowball a game. But the retakes for this comp are rough. And I mean really, really rough. They do not have a whole lot of backup plans if things start going wrong. Someone has to make a play or pull or do something like that. So obviously, you know, free flow win in this match. One of the most unlikely things in this tournament, obviously. This is, you know, new top team, or new high-level team, or whatever you want to call it, versus #1 seed in Japan. But nothing's impossible on Saturday. So we'll see. I do think they have a cool team style. I think their comp could probably use a bit of flexibility. But they have a game plan. And at the end of the day, I'd rather a team have a game plan and a solid comp, even if it looks different. As long as they're playing around it. There are multiple ink brushes in this, and we'll get to that. Next up, Seed 8 versus Seed 9. So for those who don't know with the seeding is alternating because it is a West versus JP in every round. The JP teams are seeded by Area Cup, and the West teams are seeded by IPL. But every round is a West versus JP. That's why it's seeded this way. So Moonlight versus Dragon Rex. This is about in the middle of the bracket. You guys know who Moonlight is? I hope. If you're watching this channel, I hope you know who Moonlight is. I've been coaching them for like a year and a half. They've been around for about 2 years. You better know who they are. But yeah, Moonlight runs their double wall comp, usually. Sometimes we'll see a bit of Splash Up Pro, sometimes a bit of Roller. Usually it'll be 96 mid to Cav, Pen, and Tent. So another Tent team we got here. We got a good amount of Tent representation. But Moonlight is here. They are doing their usual thing, really. It is nothing new here from Moonlight. They're coming out with their normal game plan, their normal comp. Their opponents are Dragon Rex. We have Momo. Momo is probably the best pen in the world. Momo is insanely good at pencil. Their positioning is amazing. Their survivability without giving up space is insane. This is probably the best player on this weapon, in my humble opinion. Very stacked pen player, obviously. They are playing with... As soon as it changes off the clip, watch the pen clip. Oh yeah, by the way, Basil wanted to submit a Mario Party clip, but they didn't let us. I'm telling you, it would have banged if they did. Anyway. Narisho! Stamper player. Now, for those who don't know, Narisho is considered the best stamper in Japan. Possibly in the world. Probably in the world. And, oh look, they have QR finally. They're finally adding QR to their build. But Narisho has not gotten a whole lot of results for a while. Narisho's been kind of in a bit of a results slump. Now, my personal opinion, the last 2 times I've seen them play an Area Cup, I've seen them play with like an E-liter and a tri-comp, some really weird comp, and then they played with Splash Dooley. Now, obviously, the comp is not everything, but these are some of the most scuffed comps I've ever seen. They lost to like a Bow Tent Dread Roller team, and that was a coolerless bow comp, and I like the coolerless bow comp better, and that's a very bad sign. That's a very bad sign. So, I don't know how well Narisha will do, obviously, but I do think that the comps they're playing with are kind of losing on weapon select screen, if I'm being completely honest. That has been my opinion. Now, luckily for him at least, the team comp they have here is not losing on weapon select screen. Who are we pairing with today? We're pairing our stamper with... As soon as we get the clip, we gotta look at the clip. Look at that clip. Boom. That's a pretty cool clip. Pairing with Kotaji. Now, Narisho and Kotaji usually play together. Yeah, he's apparently been losing motivation for the game. But again, I think he just needs to play with good comps. Come on. But yeah, obviously he's like one of the last bastions of Stamper right now. So, you know, he's putting in the work that he can, but it can be a little demotivating. I get that. Anyway, what is it? These two normally play together. They have synergy. It's Dooley Sword, very good pair. Very standard, right? This is kind of normal. This tends to be the weapon we see with Sword these days. But what is with these two? In one of my favorite competitions, we have Inkbrush Nouveau. This is an Inkbrush one trick in Japan. And this is going to be their 4th for the event. They're playing with a Brush Nouveau. And I am very excited for this, dude. It sucks they're going against Moonlight, because this is one of the teams I want to root for. I think this is possibly one of the most underrated teams there. I love Brush with this comp. It gives you more paint. It gives you huge distract value between the Brush and Dooley. The only problem is the kill power is really dependent on the Stamper. In other words, Narisha still has to play out of his mind. But this comp on a lockout, holy shit. Hell. Absolute hell to deal with. Now, obviously, I have faith Moonlight can get the W. But it will be hard. It will be difficult. But I'm gonna have faith in them. If they win, too, if Moonlight wins, they then have to fight the Narisho team. Though, to be honest, I feel like that's a better matchup for them. And I feel like they'd have crazy momentum. I feel like they know how to fight Dread. They've played against plenty of Dread. I know they have strats for S-Blast. I think that Basil does very good into edit comps. I think that their comp benefits from not dealing with Pen, because Pen shreds Tent much better than edit. It's like, I low-key feel like this is a better matchup for them. If Moonlight can win, I think they can win 2 rounds. I also think, Narisha's team is a toss-up here. But I would say Lobster's team is probable to make it a top 4 here. But I do think this is a very volatile side of the bracket. It could shift. There could be a huge Moonlight storyline. I could see them winning both these sets if they get momentum. It's really going to depend how well they play. I will say, to be critical of Moonlight, Moonlight has, like, no experience versus Japan. They have, like, never played versus these teams. So there is definitely going to be a lot of, can we adapt to that kind of pacing and environment and time? But I'm curious. Next up, Milky Way versus Samurai Cat. Where is Milky Way? Milky Way. This is Jared, Q, Ice, and Brand. They are playing Dooley, Splattershot Pro, Pencil, and I think S-Blast. I think. I'm actually not entirely sure. I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're running. But typically, their comp is a little bit stranger. Yeah, I don't think Ice is going to play Splash, by the way. I know the clip is a Splash. I don't think he's going to play Splash. I think he's playing Pro. Or he's going to play midline. I'm not sure. But I think the plan is right now is that Ice is playing Pro. Oh yeah, and Ant is their 5th if they need a sub, if someone doesn't wake up. Then they have Ant. Thoughts. Okay. So, the thing about Milky Way, you know how I've talked before about supports, how our, like, supports are, like, half support right now with, like, Dooley and Pro? They have 2 of them. So they have 1 real frontline, and then 2 half front, half support guys. And then a normal Pencil, right? So, they have a lot of flexibility, they have a lot of support power, they have a lot of entry tools, they have a lot of sustain, but their fighting power is a little bit lacking compared to other teams, and mainly they really struggle at dealing with AoE. Their comp doesn't have good ways of dealing with that. And they are fighting Samurai Cat. Samurai Cats. And I am actually not familiar. Is this the E-Leader team? I think this is the E-Leader team. I think Brand is S-Blast. Or no, Brand is Bucket. Maybe they're Bucket instead. Something like that. You get the idea. They also might just run Bucket S-Blast. This is the E-Leader team. Ah. Okay. Honestly, I think this is a good matchup for Milky Way. I think the multiple support stuff is pretty good into E-Leader. I think Pro is good into E-Leader, so they have the missiles against them. I think it's like Bucket 52 mints. I think. Oh no, it's Bucket. It's NZAP. It's NZAP. I think this guy's gonna zap, and not 52. So either they're 52 coolerless or they're gonna zap. Oh no, they have S-Blast. They don't have mints. S-Blast Bucket. That's a high XP S-Blast though. I think this is a good matchup for Milky Way though. I'm not familiar with these players like at all. I don't know how good they are. Obviously their XPs are very high. I think I've only heard of the E-Leader. So in theory, this is probably one of our higher likelihood Western seed wins. I think that Milky Way should be able to close out this set. But you never know. It is E-Leader. Could pop off. We don't have a lot of experience versus Leader. But I do think Milky Way is a very disciplined team. So I feel like they should know what they're doing, you know? I feel like they should know how to fight Leader. Then we have Hornet versus Frutella. Hornet has... Dude, what the fuck is this build? I didn't look at this last... What is this? This is not our actual gear. This is an error, surely. Translation error, submission error, we messed something up. I don't believe this is their real gear. I hope to God this isn't their real gear. This is Kurokuro. Another very well-known support player. They're playing with a bucket that I do not know, but they're a good bucket. And they are playing with Komaton. This is the main player of this team. They are a wiper team. And this wiper is crazy. By far, best wiper in the scene. They are a very, very strong wiper. And I missed the pen. I think it's just... Yeah, it's Milkrep. I know Milkrep as well. And they're running a respawn punish pen, which Basil is also picking. We have a few respawn punish pins. This is 8 a.m. EST on Saturday. Okay. So, downsides. I do not like End Splash with this comp at all. I think it is bad. The double strike cheese will be annoying, but I think the comp is bad. Oh, this is the bucket that got second in the King's Cup because Narisho's team dropped. Or got second in the qualifier. I see. That's that Nintendo tournament. Okay. If this guy's picking End Splash, I think their comp is worse. If they pick normal Splash, I think they're very strong. I don't think people are very good at dealing with a good wiper. It's just not that common. And they're going against what? I didn't talk about it, right? They're going against Frutella. And Frutella is another newer team. They're kind of like the EU side. Like I said, Free Flow is newer for NA. Frutella is newer for EU. So Frutella has Crowny, plays Pen and Edit Splatling. So this team flexes between Pen and Edit a bit. They can play both. So that's good for them. That gives them a little more flexibility. They have Phoenix, who plays like dualies. They have this is another 5-person. I think they normally do Bucket, Splash, or Dually. S-Blast and Pen or Edit, I believe. Yeah, they have an S-Blast player. So, these guys are very similar to PXG, which we'll talk about later, but they're a little more, I guess, underdeveloped. I guess they're newer. They're newer, is the proper term. They're a newer team for this. But I do think they're pretty good. Their qualifier performance was pretty solid in qualifier 2. I think they almost made it in qual 1 if I remember correctly. No, not almost, but they put up a good fight against Moonlight, all things considered, in their second set. So, I don't know. This is a wild card. I probably expect Japan to win here. I probably don't think they're going to win, but again, still definitely a chance. So that would be Milky Way, probably, versus Hornet. If this is a direct matchup, I think the leader team definitely loses here. Like, if Milky Way loses, I think Hornet will beat Samurai Cat and move on to semis here. I expect them to win. If Milky Way wins, I think they actually have another good matchup. Because the Wiper Bucket team doesn't have as much kill power either. I think they have good weapons for dealing with Wiper. Like, I think Pro is pretty good at dealing with Wiper. This might be a really good bracket for Milky Way. I think Milky Way could make it all the way to semis. And Milky Way also has a lot of experience with Japan. I know people are going to talk about like Q and Jared, but I'm thinking more Ice and Bran. Because Ice and Bran played a lot of the Area Cup World Championships in like 2021, 2022. If you guys remember those. Where they made runs and were very close against the best of JP. So they have a lot of experience in exactly these kinds of tournaments. Though, I mean, that one was like 8 teams and single elim, so this is definitely like a longer format. But I think Milky Way probably has the most experience versus Japan in this entire bracket. Anyway. So that's that side. PXG versus Final Weapon. Cool name, by the way. So PXG... I'm gonna be straight here, guys. I'm gonna be straight here. I haven't seen people throw this around, but I feel like it needs to be thrown around. This is the best team in the Western scene, and it's not particularly close. Now, I do think our other teams have a chance of beating these guys, but if I'm being objective with the results, these guys have dominated practically every tournament they played in for the past 6 months. They haven't had Gauss for all of them, but it's like been the same core. This is Jordan, you, Gray, and Goss right now. And they are by far and away performing the best out of any of our teams right now. They are running Pro, Bucket, and S-Blast with Pen. Very aggressive pencil player. Very aggressive AoE focus comp. Very minimal support. They have done very well in practice. And in fact, PXG has scrimmed some of the teams on here. I forget the team they fought. They fought one pretty good team that they went 4-4 in scrims, and then Goss had BC problems. They fought the Mint Decavitator team, the Mint S-Blast one, I think, so not the team in this tournament. And they lost every single game. That one wasn't great. And then tomorrow, they're fighting Seed 1 in a scrim. So these guys are also lucky enough to actually get scrims against Japan. I don't even know if any of our other teams are getting a whole lot of scrims against Japan, but these guys are actually getting good practice into JP ahead of time. So that's worth noting. And they are going against Final Weapon. And it is very rare that I can say the JP team are the underdogs here. But this is one of those rare situations where the JP team is genuinely the underdog in this situation. We have an Octobrush player that I am completely unfamiliar with. We have a Stamper player that I am, again, completely unfamiliar with. This is the bottom seed in JP. This is our 8th seed JP team, going against our top seed Western team. A Pen that I'm still not familiar with, and I think their last is Squeezer. This is the one guy I know. This is one of the best Squeezer players, and they are also one of the only people to actually stay with Squeezer. And their comp is also weird. They don't have a support. There's no support at all. None at all. We have a double zip Stamper Squeezer Octobrush comp, which is like probably not a good comp, but the sheer fighting power could maybe catch people off guard. I think if PXG loses, it's gonna be like they need to be like caught off guard and not adapt in time to lose this. That's what I think it has to be. I think this is all BO5. Are there any IPLTOs in my chat? This is all BO5, right? Everything here is BO5, I'm guessing. Or is losers BO3 maybe? But I'm guessing this starts BO5. No way these are BO3 sets. Please tell me you didn't make this BO3. I'm guessing they're BO5. Best of 3 winners round 1 and 2. No, no, no. Okay. Alright. I guess you need it for time. I guess you need it for time. These would be awesome as best of 5s, though. Oh my god. Alright. Is losers round 1 and 2 BO5, or what's losers like? So let me... There we go. I can see your messages. Yeah, what is losers bracket? Yes, this is zones only. Believe it's BO3 until semis. Oh, so the entire bracket? So this is BO5 onward, and this is BO5 onward, and everything else is BO3. Okay. Alright, anyway, so that's that side. These guys will fight the winner of Takoyaki Party and Hypernova. So Takoyaki Party, which I'm definitely saying wrong. I think they're seated under these guys. Oh. So remember how I said that there were 2 JP players basically winning every area cup? The first one of them is Lobster. The second one of them is Toto. Toto used to be one of the best Squeezer players. However, a few months ago, they swapped to Mint. You're saying it slightly wrong, but very close. I appreciate it. 9 PM in Japan, that's why the sets are shorter. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Anyway. I didn't realize it was that late for JP. That is fair. This is Toto, and Toto has not fucking lost a tournament in like 2 months. They've been playing with Lobster normally, and they're not with Lobster now. So this is a different team. But this is still a stacked team. This is Rusu. This is the guy who randomly plays Big Swig and Area Cups for all you Big Swig fans. This is the guy who randomly picks them. They're going to play shot. Latency, I mean, yeah, I bet everyone's going to deal with latency. So Rusu's going to be Zuka spamming. They're going to have Mint, S-Blast. I don't know who this S-Blast is. And then I don't know who this Edit is. So it's kind of hard to make predictions for this team because their Mint and Shot are very stacked. But their other 2 players aren't as proven, as far as I'm aware. But it's still obviously one of the stronger teams for JP, and they're going against Hypernova. Now, Hypernova's in like a comp crisis right now. I saw what they were playing tonight. I scrimmed them with my LAN team. My LAN team is like a triple bucket group, or like probably LAN team. We haven't locked it in, but like LAN group that I'm playing with. And we scrimmed them, And they were running a very different comp. And I am unsure if I think their comp is better. I think their prior comp... I don't know. I don't know. These guys in the trailer run like Brush, 96 Wiper, Pen. Which is, you know, a weird comp, but it fits how they play. I'm not gonna say their comp in case they're, like, not trying to give it away. They're fighting Japan, so, like, you know, I don't think they're gonna see this. I don't like their newer comp. It has better specials, but I think the game plan is weaker. I think it is too much of a mixture of, like, their stuff and a normal meta comp. And that is what I do not like, so I'm not sure. I think Takoyaki Party will probably have this set. I'm not gonna lie. I don't see Hypernova taking this. I'd love to be proven wrong. Which means I think this will be probably PXG going against them. And I think PXG is a good shot. I think it's a relatively even match for quarterfinals. So, we'll leave it at that for now. And that brings us to our final 4 teams. First up is False Dream, our 3rd seed for Japan. Jared, if you know this, feel free to correct me. I'm pretty sure this guy is playing Pro, not Squeezer. But this is... their trailer's Squeezer, so I don't know. I think they're playing K-Pro. Or Missile Pro, or whatever it's called. This has Schumann. Probably the best Splash player in the scene. Very talented player. Very strong player. Very aggressive. Like, look at this Splash clip, dude. Like, we are just running in. They're playing with Ko, or Ku. I'm not sure which one it is. Also one of the best buckets, if not the best bucket in Japan. This is a very stacked team. But yeah, I think they're with Pro. Maybe they are with Squeezer for the comp. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. And then Wolbo. This is the pen that normally plays with Grand Roll. AKA, this is the pen that flexes V-Dapple for a few maps. The Beacon Dapple Dooley. So very, very stacked team, obviously. And they are going against new meta, recently reformed team after being on break for like over a year and a half. If you guys remember early Splatoon 3, this team is back. Now, I do not know what lineup New Meta is actually using for this tournament, because Jay is on their roster, so I don't know if Jay is playing or Home is playing. But they're going to have Wiper Inkbrush, similar to Hypernova again, Storm, who can play Edit, but I think is mostly on one of the minis right now. I think they normally play mini. And then either Pen or 96. If they have Home playing, their comp is so similar to new metas, which is kind of funny. This is another Inkbrush team. I do think their comp is better with Pen. I think Pen, Zimmy, Wiper, and Dapple is their best comp. Or not Wiper. Brush and Dapple is their best comp. But it's hard to see... It's hard to say what exactly they'll use. This is not Storm Hero from Last Resort. This is a different Storm. This is EU Ballpoint Splatling Storm that is playing in this. Safe to say they are the underdogs, though. I think there's maybe a chance they catch them off guard. But I think that False Dream will probably just be able to mow over this comp. I'm rooting for new meta. But yeah, if I'm being realistic, this is another very unlikely win for the Western scene here. And then we have another very even set. With FT Win, which is Sam, Kyo, Bursty, and Biscuit. They are playing Booyah Stamper. Either of the Doolies is what Bursty's playing. Bubble Dooley or Crab Dooley. I think it just depends on the comp. Slosher and Pencil. So pretty standard. FT Win is very aggressive. I think that the meta shifts have helped them. I think they're better with Booyah Sword than Zip Sword. I think Dooley on the support is better. It's ultimately just leaned much more into their favor. I think FT Win got super buffed by the, by the meta shifts recently. So I think they're looking very strong. They've had a lot of close sets with Moonlight recently. 3-2, 2-3, 3-2 are their last 3 sets, by the way. Insanely even. But I do think Moonlight is a team that typically does well into them. At least right now. I'd say their new comp of like Bubble Dooley, Booyah Stamper probably is better than Moonlight's, or at least beats them. But I think Moonlight as players are very good into them. And they are fighting... Where is it? It's all the way over here. Utopia. Utopia. Is this the double cooler team? Yeah, I think this is the double cooler team. Bucket, Mint, Zap, and Pen. So the two aggressive teams are fighting. We got a double cooler JP team. Oh, it's Azu from Final Weapon who's not playing Squeezer, and it's the other player that's playing it. Okay, thank you. So he still plays it every now and then. All right, thank you for the clarification. Anyway, they're fighting a really aggressive team, which I find a cool matchup. So this is two very aggressive teams going against each other. West versus JP here. I think that's very interesting. Personally, I think that FT Win will take it, though. I think FT Win has the advantage in the matchup. I think double cooler. I'm not a big fan of double cooler, especially with Pen. Like, I think it's better with Rapid. I don't even like it with Rapid that much. I think that they'll probably win. Will they beat False Dream, though? That's a toss-up, for sure. That's a very much a toss-up. So if we go with my predictions, that means I think this slot will either be Moonlight, Narisha's team, or Lobster's team versus Milky Way. Probably. Milky Way or Hornet, but probably Milky Way. Versus PXG, I think pretty handily, versus FT Win or False Dream would be my top 4 predictions. Now, from here, unless if multiple Western teams make it to each side of semis, if I'm being totally honest, in winner's side, I think this is the farthest the West goes. I think we can make semis. I would be very surprised to see a team in finals. In fact, more than being surprised, a Western team making it to finals would literally be historic. Remember those Area Cup World Championships I told you about? A team has never made it to finals in those. Never. A team has never made it to winners finals from the Western scene. If a team makes it here, it will be the furthest run we've had in a Japanese tournament in a long time. Like, actual groundbreaking result if a team makes it this far. Has not happened before on this scale. On an event this large. Has not happened. Similarly, that would also make the same true for losers finals. So basically top 3 would be historic if it happens. Though I'd say losers semis would still be really good. Obviously any further is also very historic. But the thing is, we haven't had a West versus JP event in a long time. So I really don't know. There's a lot of inexperience in terms of the Western scene being ready for Japan. There's a lot more teams. There's a double elimination bracket. So I really don't know how it's going to go. Who do you think takes the whole thing? Probably, I'm going to bet on Narisha's team because it feels like the safe bet. They feel like the safe bet, but I don't know. We'll see. But hey, listen up, guys. When we go out there on Saturday, you might have your favorite teams, and that's fine. But once we get late into that bracket, all of us are going to be rallying behind whatever Western team is left in this tournament. We're all going to be rallying behind whoever stays alive, rooting for them to make history in this tournament. And honestly, I hope that happens. I hope this is a history-making tournament. I'm very excited to see what happens. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I will also say, Jared did a predictions video as well. I will have that linked in the description, because he knows a bit more about the JP teams than I do. So you can probably get a little more info. But yeah, if you missed it, now you're caught up. Now you're ready. Go be there Saturday, 8 a.m. EST IPL stream. Can you stay live for 2 minutes? Yeah, sure. I will end my recording here.